Everyone's pretty bent out of shape about how Apple's new iPhone antenna sucks. Apple comes back, polarizing this, boasting about its new $100 million antenna technology, which they have no problem showing a diagram of. I'm skeptical, though, about how much it really costs to develop antenna. Radio waves and antenna technology is pretty simple and pretty well established. It works because you have one antenna transmitting a radio frequency at the speed of light and another one that receives it. That wave is made up by its wavelength. That's the distance between the start and the end of the wave, and its frequency, the number of times it oscillates in a given duration. The length of a cell phone's antenna, or any antenna for that matter, decides what kind of frequency it can detect. Hopefully by now most of you understand this antenna issue is not isolated. It happened on the iPhone 3GS, which nobody seems to complain about, as well as a number of other phones. There's a BlackBerry Bold, a number of HTC phones, which nobody seems to notice, or if they didn't notice, didn't really make a big deal. So I kind of understand Jobs saying how everybody's blown this way out of proportion. So while a lot of videos show you how you can grip your phone and make it lose bars, I think it's really important for you guys to understand why this is happening on the iPhone 4. The iPhone 4 has two antennas, one for detecting things like Wi-Fi and GPS. The other is for cellular signals like GSM and UMTS, the ones you talk on. It needs two antennas because those waveforms are of variably different wavelengths, and it's easier for an antenna of a certain length to detect a certain wavelength. Now remember, these radio frequency wavelengths are physical lengths. You can measure them in feet or inches. Antennas work best when they are around either half or a quarter the length of the total wavelength. So for example, a 1000 megahertz GSM frequency would have a wavelength of about 10 inches and require only a 5-inch antenna. The problem that's happening on the iPhone antenna is actually pretty simple. Though your hand doesn't make a very good device for passing radio waves, it does make a pretty good electrical conductor. In fact, it's the electrical conductivity of your finger that allows the touchscreen to know where on the display you're pressing. So they talk about the X marks the spot on a line, that beautiful line you're not supposed to put your hand on. The reason for that is you've got two exposed antennas sort of encircling the phone. When you place your hand across the gap between the two antennas, it essentially transforms them into an antenna that is the sum of both their lengths. And that length has a hard time picking up the frequency the phone requires. You'll find dry hands or gloves make it harder to replicate this issue. That's why the bumpers they sell now are actually giving away free actually work. Other, more conductive materials will make the issue worse. Placing a conductive strip of metal across the two antennas will make your calls drop even faster.